Hi, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Zorza, and I'm a retired Navy veteran. I created this channel to help anyone that's currently serving in the Navy, along with anyone that wishes to enlist in the Navy, regardless if it's on the active duty side or in the reserves. I served on both. Starting today, Saturday, January 11th, 2020, I'm going to have a new episode every Saturday on advice from me, a retired Navy chief, to you. If you're currently serving, or if you're looking to enlist, it doesn't matter if you're active or reserves, okay? This is advice, things that I learned throughout my 20-plus year career that hopefully will help you out. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is the advancement exams. They're literally right around the corner. Now, the advancement exam is held twice a year. For the reserves, it's every February and every August. Active duty, it's every March and every September. However, if you're going up for chief or taking the test for LDO purposes, it's only offered one time per year, okay? So active duty, you take it in January, and it's actually coming up like in a week and a half. And then reserves, you take it in February. Now, from my experience over the years, a very high percentage, I would say probably like 70% or more, do not study. So what I've seen is the results come out, they find out that, you know, maybe 50 people advance, and they're like, man, I should have studied. Truth of the matter is, you should be studying all the time. Literally, when I put on second class, when I put on first class, the very next day, start studying. Why are you following me? Do you want to enlist in the Navy? Would you like some advice? I'm going to call you Seaman Timmy. Seaman Timmy, do you want to go to boot camp? Have you seen Seaman Timmy? He's AWOL. No? Well, if you happen to see him, tell him the chief is looking for him, okay? Okay? All right. Try it off. So, what I wanted to say about advancement is this. So many people do not study, and they just figure, hey, I'm not going to make it anyways because of quotas, all right? Prime example, corpsman, HM. Doesn't matter if it's active duty component, reserve component, or FTS. It's overmanned. It's like, you can advance, okay? It's not like the Seabees were quite a few years back to where there was 0 quotas, nobody was advancing, but it's a very small quota. And I know a lot of the individuals that watch NICKY MGTV or DWK videos, they're both corpsmen, and they're like, hey, you know, I want to be like Nicky, I want to be like Donnie, and they want to be a corpsman. But then they find out either they can't get in because there's no available billets because not enough people have left the Navy yet, or they get in and they're like, man, there's no advancement. But here's the thing. For instance, reserves, okay? I think FTS, from what I recall when I looked at the quotas, FTS has like the worst out of the 3 components, and they do test differently. Reserve component is only against reserve, full-time's against active duties against the active duty component, and then FTS, full-time support, they only test against each other. But the full-time support, they had the smallest percentage of advancement possibility. But you have to look too, there's also a much smaller percentage of corpsmen that serve as FTS compared to over on active duty. Okay, active duty was next, and then actually the reserves had probably the best possibility. So this is what I want to say. For instance, I had 2 individuals ask me about, hey, I want to be a corpsman. I don't know if I should go active duty or reserves because the recruiters tell me advancement just totally sucks. All right. But if you study, I cannot say that enough. If you study, you're going to advance. And this is why I say that. It doesn't matter if there's just one quota, one opening. All right. I made second class. I left the Navy. Came back, had to take an advancement exam again for second class because of the amount of time out and all. So I had to take second class twice as a torpedoman. First time, there was only one opening, one quota. I was that one quota. The second time, there were three 3 quotas, and I was one of those 3. So you never know. All right, I don't know how many times I've heard, well, it's been, 0, they're not advancing, or they're advancing 1 or 2, and then individuals generally don't look at the quotas. Either they don't understand them, or whatever their reasoning is. They do not look at the quotas. And then they find out, hey, they advanced 15 or 20 or whatever amount. I should have studied. The fact of the matter is you should always be studying. As I said, right after you make whatever pay grade, you should already be looking into the material for the next pay grade. Okay, so for instance, reserve side, HM3. If you're going up for HM3 in February, and realistically, that could be just like 3 weeks away, depending on when your drill weekend is, when you're taking the test in February, it's 100% open. All right, I looked at the quotas. For the exam in February, reserves, for instance, corpsman, 100% open. What that means is you just got to pass the test. And I don't know how often I've seen individuals fail a test because, once again, they did not study. All right? Another reason to study, even if you know that there's 0 billets, the fact is, if you study and you pass the exam, all right, you get points, P&A points, pass but not advance. Okay? So instead of failing, you get no points, you P&A and you get points. So you never know when the next test cycle comes around, those points might be what makes you advance. So it's so imperative to study. All right, okay, and then for instance, in the reserves, second class, I think it was like 14 or 15% opening, okay, quotas open that are going up for E5, HM2. Once again, that might seem like, wow, that's not a whole lot, but that's actually a good number, especially compared to previous different quotas that I've seen. So I forget what the number was too. I did look at it. It's not OPSEC or anything because it's out there on the internet as far as, like I said, quotas, the billets, how many are serving. There was something like 600 and some current individuals that are eligible for HM2 in the reserves. All right. 100 of those individuals make up that 14, 15%. So for you to say, well, it's such a small percentage, it's 100 quotas, 100. If you study, you can be among those 100. Okay, same thing for HM2 going up for HM1. It was like 7.8, something like that, percentage available to advance. But once again, out of the members that are eligible, it was like 45 or 50, okay? 45 or 50 individuals are eligible to advance. Now, I don't know about you, but that is a good number. If you study, if you know your rating, you're gonna advance. So I wouldn't really worry about what people tell you about, like, I wouldn't pick that rate because, the advancement, it really sucks. It depends on you studying. And I'm telling you from experience. For myself, I also had 2 different sailors, 2 different commands. They were AE2s. In the reserves, they were going up for AE1, and there was only 1 billet. Gonzalez, if you're watching, amazing AE, all right? Active duty, went to the reserves. He's now back on active duty. But he made first class, AE1, in the reserves, the 1 billet, because he studied, all right? And then there's another individual, she did the same thing. There was a couple billets, but guess what? She studied and she advanced. So it's possible. I've seen it across all the rates. You have to study, all right? So that is my advice. I cannot stress that enough. Study, know your rating. If you're at a NOSC, and you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs on drill weekend because nobody's giving you any type of direction, pull some individuals aside, especially if you are a more senior, seasoned, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, doesn't matter, petty officer, and especially helping the newbies coming out of boot camp. All right, take them in. Do some training on PMK, professional military knowledge. It's going to help you and them for the advancement exam. Plus, that, as they always say, that's another bullet on your eval. all right? But study, study, study. So that's what I have for you today. I will be back tomorrow with another video, all right? If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And you know the drill. Until the next video, take care, be safe, and I hope you have a great day.